Good morning, Derek. Thank you. Thank you very much, my good friend. To get the music started.
Embrace more than
Business
50
here.
destinations in Europe. Fly now at flytap.com.
Good morning, everybody.
Don't just mask bad breath. Neutralize it. Get that
Thank you,
fresh,
Derek. Feel
clean
better.
breath.
I feel better. Good morning, Laura. Good morning, Divine One. Good morning, Anthony. Thank you for your kindness, Anthony. Sparky. Sparky Sparkerton. Mark. Good morning, Marky. Good morning. Who likes who likes this guy? Give me a thumbs up if you like that guy. Thank you, Sue Little. I definitely feel better than yesterday. Yesterday I just couldn't do it. Yesterday I was like, nope, can't do it. Who likes my little human sunshine guy? Thank you, Mark and Dawn. Thank you both. Look at my little sunshine fella. A person who radiates warmth, happiness, and positivity wherever they go. They brighten up your day with their smile, their kindness, and their awesome vibes. Good morning, Shy. It's so good to see you. I looked at an IG post. I think it might have been from yesterday with you and your gal. Handsome couple. Good morning. HB, thank you. I was showing this to hopefully can't we all be human sunshine? Can't we all be human sunshine? Raise your hand if you personally can be human sunshine. Can you? Raise your hand. Raise it high. Can you be human sunshine? HB is. Nerdy can. Nerdy is. Nerdy is. Shy is. Derek Anderson, he's very sunny. Raise your hand. Sparky's gonna go for it. Sparky says, to heck with it, I'm going human sunshine. Jessie Girl too. We got sunshine in our pockets. If it's in our pockets, then we should pour out our pockets. Good morning, everybody. Laura Devine, that's what she does, is provide human sunshine. Good morning to everybody. Anthony and Mike Barabal. Good morning. Happy to see everybody this morning. I'm happy to actually be here this morning. Good morning, Kimberly. The Golden Bolden. Good morning. Pocket full of sunshine. Good morning. This little fella that I have here came from Pacers. Pacers sent me this and a box of candies. Thank you, Pacers. Thank you, Pacers. I really like this little guy. I appreciate him. I have him in my cup cupboard. So whenever I open up my cup cupboard to grab a cup, there he is shining at me. That's very, very kind. Sent me this little guy and a box of candy. Good candy too, by the way. It's always good candy if there's Butterfinger in it. Thank you, Pacers. That's very, very kind of you. Good morning. Pops is alive. Pops is alive today. I actually got up and did my things this morning. Rough weekend for me. Yesterday I probably would have been okay too, but my head was pounding. Boom, diddy, boom, 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 head pounder. So, we didn't like not being here yesterday at all. I didn't like it, Melody, Dawn. I didn't like not being here yesterday. No, I got about 10 people saying, how you doing? Nice wishes. And then, but we really missed the show this morning. Hey, so did I. Okay, so did I. Okay, what is this now? Oh, Aaron caught himself sleeping. Nerdy's having a beautiful sunrise in Denver area. How neat. How very, very neat. Let's get us going. Rando Factos. We're going to do some Rando Factos. I'm going to read a really neat article. And then we're going to go downtown. I mean downtown. I mean downtown. I had a chance to do a lot of reading this weekend. Between reading, shooting over to the grow house, working there for a few hours per day. A lot of downtime here because of the weather. Four-Leaf's been having pretty sunsets too, huh? Aaron, I'm glad you're here. A couple of rando factos. Solar panels don't work on cloudy days. Is that true or false? Audience participation. Excuse me. Solar panels don't work on cloudy days. True or false? Galactics, you're all going false? You guys all know this one already? But it's solar and it's cloudy. How could it be working? The falses are winning right now. On cloudy days, the solar panels absorb less energy than they normally would, but it doesn't mean that they wouldn't work at all. It's kind of like when you go to the beach and the sun's not out, so you feel like, oh, I don't need sun lotion on. Kind of an overcast day at the beach. You come home from the beach and you still have a sunburn. I've done that before. My skin, I am French. I'm French background. So my skin, I get one sunburn a year. And I mean, can't tell now because I'm Detroit ghost. But when I'm living in Southern California, I tan like a mofo. I tan super fast. I look like George Hamilton. You guys don't know who George Hamilton is. Don't even pretend. You guys don't know who George Hamilton is. The most famous tan in the world. Exception tans well. Let me see if we can find a picture of the best tanner guy in the world. Okay? Kim, you know who I'm talking about. George Hamilton should have died by now from some kind of cancer, skin cancer. I'm telling you. Where is he? Well, it looks like he's dying from skin cancer right now. Never mind. George, get out of the sun. So find a younger picture. Hold on. George, get out of the sun. And let's see if we have one more picture. Every time I think of a guy that's over tanned, George comes to mind. Here he's looking pretty good. Kim would date that guy. Mark Z, there's no lobster butter left. We gave it out to everybody. I was adding it to the top of packages that I would send as a bonus. Jesus Christ, he is happy to date George Hamilton. English bulldogs can swim unassisted. English bulldogs can swim unassisted. That's right, Sue Little. He was on all of those variety shows. There is no way that an English bulldog can hold itself above water with its short legs, large head, and heavy bottom. However, they can swim if they have a life preserver on. Dog paddle. Get ready for this one. Different countries see different phases of the moon on the same day. Not true. Not true. Everyone sees the same phases of the moon. However, people that live south of the equator and face north to see the moon will see it upside down so that the reverse side of it is lit up. If you want me to be honest, this explains Jesus Christ in Australia quite well. Basically, upside down and backwards is his perspective on things. Okay? Oh, Melody got out there last night. Basically, this explains Jesus Christ in Australia. Okay, the moon sets before it rises. The moon goes around the earth in one day. Is that true or false? The moon goes around the earth in one day. True or false? Talk to Astronomer Pops. Does the moon go around the earth in one day, you guys? Kimberly, our physics teacher, who also teaches astronomy, says it's false. I think I'm going to listen to Kimberly. It takes about a month for the moon to orbit the earth. A month. It's actually closer to about 28 or 29 days, right, Kim? How about this one? Nobody look at Kim's paper. Don't look at Kimberly's paper. Okay? The moon makes its own light like the sun. Moonlight, moon bright. The moon makes its own light like the sun. True or false? Moonlight comes from inside the moon. Oh, nobody look at Kimberly's paper. Okay? I'm glad you guys have been paying attention in astronomy class. I'm glad. The moon does not make its own light. The moon reflects the light of the sun, just like other planets do. There is one thing we do know about the moon, is that it doesn't rotate. Right? It rotates around us, but it doesn't rotate itself as it's rotating around us. Is that true? Is that true? The moon's just a straight on and it goes with us. No, it's not true. No, it's not true. This one you guys can cheat and look at Kimberly's paper. The moon spins on its own axis, completing a rotation once every 27.3 days. The myth is due to the moon taking the same period to orbit the Earth, keeping the same side facing us all the time. The moon has no gravity. We know that's not true. The moon does have gravity, but due to its smaller size, it's only about 1/6 of the Earth's gravity on its surface. The moon is only visible at night. Not true. We can also see the moon during the day. However, when the moon is full, we wouldn't be able to see it during the day. Moon class is over. Moon class is over. The more we look at the universe, it's just what an amazing clock that was made. An amazing clock made. Rhonda DeSantis is all for natural medicine. But according to her, natural is no excuse for sloppy. As founder of Colorado's first licensed cultivator and manufacturer, she brings an engineer's precision to dosing in a market that's historically run on prayers and vibes. Does anybody want to hear an interview of Rhonda? Give me 5 people that would like to hear an interview of this lady. It'll take about 15 minutes to read her interview. Who wants me to read this interview? Rhonda DeSantis. No excuse. Natural is no excuse for sloppy. It's a good interview. Wait for it. I'm glad you guys are paying attention this morning. Help me, Rhonda. Help me, Rhonda. Please teach us how to dose. We asked Rhonda what it takes to run a commercial cultivation facility. Why whole body mushrooms have no place in therapeutic settings, and how policymakers can keep adulterated products from flooding the markets. Here we go. Dear Rhonda. By the way, Rhonda's pretty. Here we go. There's Rhonda. Rhonda, you already run a successful construction company. Why get involved in the emerging psilocybin industry in Colorado at all? Rhonda answers, for me it was a life-changing experience. I had a very small dose of psilocybin that helped me through a critical time in my life, and from that one experience, I had a dramatic reduction in trauma triggers. I did 3 more of those same small doses over the course of a year. And by the end of it, my whole life was reset. It was profound. Rhonda and I have the same starting story. We had the same starting story. One small dose, then a microdosing, and then another small dose, all in the first year. And I already knew from the very first small dose that I had found something amazing. And by the end of a year, I had completely reset. I had gone from, I'm going to get into shrooms and start selling them. This is almost 6 years ago now. Some of you remember me. I'm going to start selling them and I'm going to make a lot of money. I'm going to capitalize on this situation. The more I thought about the money, the less well I was doing at growing the shrooms. And I had a complete reset. So I'm not doing this for money. If I broke even, I'm happy. I can't do this business for money. Complete reset on why, my motives, and all of my opportunities. And things grew from there. It was amazing. The start of my story. That's why you hear me so anti-profit. Break even for sure. Otherwise you couldn't stick around and we'd lose you as a provider. But I'm so anti-profit because I've seen in the churches, I've seen what money does and it destroys. And I've seen what money does in the weed industry, and it destroys. Why would I not believe that money could easily destroy the mushroom industry? Let's go back to Rhonda. Whenever I find something I think can help others, I do everything in my power to get it to as many people as possible. Sounds like Pops again. Whenever I find something I think can help others, I do everything in my power to get it to as many people as possible. I'm running 60 tubs as of yesterday. 60 tubs. And that's not even as much as I can do. I'm trying to get it to as many people as possible. As I started learning more about psilocybin, my geeky scientific mind revved up. This work touched all the fields I loved: medicine, helping people, and solving problems. As soon as it was clear that psilocybin would be decriminalized in Colorado, we started our research and development. As soon as I found out that it would be decriminalized in Michigan, I went from 5 tubs in a tent to leasing a property and going full tilt boogie. I gotta meet this Rhonda. Solutions is the first licensed cultivator and first licensed manufacturer in the state. But I didn't want to just make the medicine, I wanted to help people directly too. I enrolled in the first licensed facilitator program through Changa Institute so I could better understand the patient's needs and how they applied in the therapeutic setting. I'm behind Rhonda on this one. It took me 5 years to get into a facilitator program. She jumped right in. Then I reverse engineered what we needed to do and achieve with our medicine to meet those needs. It couldn't just be, here's your mushrooms, let's hope it all goes well. Question: how is cultivating psilocybin at commercial scale different from a hobbyist's homegrown project? Growing at home, her answer. Growing at home is great if you know the strain. You're getting your supplies from a reliable source, and you can mitigate any contaminants. but often that's extremely hard to do. We have advanced air handling systems that change our air more than 30 times an hour to meet ISO 5 standards. We have to be concerned about employee safety, cross-contamination, and infected grows. So we test excessively. That's what distinguishes regulated from unregulated medicine. When you get our product, it's been tested 4 to 6 times to ensure potency, purity, and a consistent pharmacological signature. We've figured out that the way you grow mushrooms and certain environmental attributes you apply to specific strains can alter their full alkaloid profile. It's a nature and nurture situation. We can increase what we want and decrease what's less desirable for certain strains. Then we align those profiles with patient data. We've found certain profiles work better for trauma and PTSD. Others are more effective for pain relief and grief. Some are better for depression, and others work well for mystical experiences and self-exploration. I went with Rhonda on this one. For 4 years, I tried just about every strain you can think of. And what are the differences? We weren't as high on the testing, but I was able to give it to the human guinea pigs and get the feedback from the human guinea pigs. And eventually, because my operation is considerably smaller than Solutions, we chose to stick with 2 basic strains and learn everything we could know about them and clone out of our own tubs. So we're constantly replacing with potentially a better DNA strain, even though it's the same strain. So we're really working, we've become pretty darn expert, I have to say, Pat, at growing ghosts and penis envy. When facilitators call, we review the patient data with them. We go over their medication intakes, their primary concerns, and what they're hoping to achieve. Then we match each patient with the best product and dosing strategy. It's personalized medicine for everyone who works with us. Yeah, PE, that's a really tall one. A 4-incher is pretty tall, Jesus. They're usually pretty squatty and thick. Question: precision matters in a therapeutic setting, but that can be tough with natural medicine. How do you manufacture precise doses given the variability in potency between mushrooms? Answer: you hit the nail right on the head. This is one of my soapboxes. I do not believe in whole body fruit being administered in a therapeutic setting because there's no accurate way to dose them. I've seen one pin grow next to another pin, and one will have 30 milligrams in one and 4 in the other. There's no visual way to confirm they'll be equally potent, even if they grow right next to each other. We talked about that here extensively, which is why we recommend to grind your packages. And then you'll get a universal midline of all of the psilocybin content in whatever you are working with. The only way to achieve precise dosing is through homogenized powder or some form of the homogenized product. Some people really believe in the ceremonial aspects of the whole body fruit, and I'll get pushback sometimes. But if you want precision dosing in a therapeutic setting, Homogenized product is the only way. We homogenize in single strains per flush. The state only requires testing once per harvest. But that could be 14 different boxes of flushes harvested at the same time. We test every single box individually, above and beyond the state requirement. We want to know exactly what you're getting every single time. We found that when you're dosing with precisely homogenized powder, how much you need to achieve true journey status is far less than people typically think. That's why we never refer to medicine in grams. I still get facilitators asking what something would be in grams. And my answer is always that it doesn't matter. Some of our strains are 26 milligrams of psilocybin per gram of dried mushroom, and our lowest is 12 milligrams per gram. The average golden teacher is between 4 and 8 milligrams per gram. You simply cannot go by dry weight. Question: what are the gaps in the supply chain right now? Where's the opportunity for entrepreneurs to step in as this industry emerges from the underground? Answer: one of the gaps is public awareness. Are you guys liking this article so far? Give me 5 people that are liking this article so far. We have a little bit more to go, but not a lot. Good article. Good. Thank you, guys. Thank you. One of the gaps is public awareness. We need the general population to be educated that there's actual science behind this and real data showing it's helpful. Although the state is doing a fabulous job, their staff is limited and they get bogged down. Excuse me. There's a whole process of background checks and regulations to get licensure. So we're seeing a slowdown on licensing. Some healing centers have been in the queue since before the first one was even approved. Another big gap, and this is where I stand, I'm in this gap. Another big gap is testing labs. There's only one right now, Nordic Analytical Laboratories. They're coming from cannabis and crossing into psilocybin, so there's been a learning curve. Since we started working with them, they realized they don't need as much product as they initially thought to run their tests. That's been cost reductive for us, which makes medicine more affordable. Every time we reduce our costs, we pass that on to the consumer. I like that. As of now, regulated labs can only test regulated medicine. I believe that needs to change. Personal use testing should be allowed at regulated labs because it's practically impossible for a lab to operate solely on legal medicine. There's just not enough business. Besides, I'm for making medicine safer across the board. So she's saying a lab, it's hard to even be profitable because there aren't enough people that are legally growing psilocybin and being able to send it to them to get the test results. And so it's really hard. That lab should be open for us to be able to individually send in our own fruit and get test results back. And that would make that lab economically viable, and it would also bring the cost of testing down. By the way, this is our January 1st resolution. Okay, that's right, Herbie. The lab model has a huge amount of overhead. This is our January 1st resolution is we're going to start sending samples to the Nordic Analytical Laboratories and be getting results from them. And so I'll be able to actually know in individual packagings what psilocybin content I'm providing. We're at that point right now. I'm right there. It's going to take a few extra dollars, and I have to do a little bit of a runaround because I'm going to have to send my packages to Colorado, and then from Colorado to the lab, so that the lab feels they're getting it from a legal source. But that's what we're going to be doing. And we're already working on our background trail to get it to the lab. And that's a commitment that we're making to our model starting January 1st. Because it has continued to bother me that being a provider and now wanting to facilitate and guide with a certificate or 3, I still can't tell somebody how much psilocybin's in what I'm providing. And that isn't okay with me. I can give them a rough idea, but that's not what we're looking for in therapy. No, Joe, I don't think it's going to. It's a matter of conscience for me, too. Next question. Do you think your product should be available to people outside a facilitated use model? In other words, outside of the therapy centers. Should we be able to call Solutions and have them send us some stuff? That's a complex question. My first answer is definitely yes. Mushrooms are exceptionally safe. Even in a bad trip, very little actual harm happens. Compared to alcohol and other legal drugs, there are much lower rates of incidences with mushrooms. Do I think it's wise to do a heroic journey on your own? No, I do not. Do I think you could do a social dose on a Friday night instead of drinking alcohol? 100%. The biggest issue is that there are plenty of retailers out there now selling unregulated products. They're not precisely dosing anything. Half the time there's not even psilocybin in it. You don't know what you're getting, and that's a safety issue. I would rather see the legal realm move into adult use than have all these off-market products doing potential harm. Although it wouldn't be ideal, I'd even rather see the burdensome regulation they ended up with in cannabis. I believe adult use could come as easily as 3 to 5 years from now. I'm on her time frame. This is great. This is great. You know, Pops is right in line at a smaller scale. This is right in line. This lady's thinking. I'm just like right in line with, it's just amazing. I'm right in line with this lady's thinking. I really need to get out there to Denver, Nerdy, if Nerdy's still here. I need to get out there, meet these people and see their operation. I really do. If we can get the FDA to reschedule psilocybin, take it from a Schedule 3, things should start moving more quickly because suddenly it becomes more easy to run clinical trials with natural medicine. I expect you'll see significantly more profound outcomes than with the synthetic. The entourage effect is where the power of the medicine really comes into play. There is a this is fantastic. So Solutions has put out a accurate dosing schedule. This is great. I'm going to read this tomorrow. We'll go through their dosing scheduling tomorrow. And it basically, she's going to read to us or tell us about wow, this is good. About the different strains and how many milligrams for each dose type in different strains. She covers PE, tidal wave, ape, true albino, which is ghost, bluey velvet, blue ghost, golden teacher. She talks about how to choose the right dose for which intentions. This is going to be good. I'm going to read this, continue the rest of this dosing situation schedule that she has tomorrow. Give me 5 people that are interested in that. It's called a precision dosing guide. And you can always find it yourself if you go and look online for it. It's called Solutions. P-S-Y-L-U-T-I-O-N-S. P-S-Y-L-U-T-I-O-N-S. Solutions. A neat dosing guide that's going to break it down by 7 different strains and what your intention is, the intention behind the dose, medically speaking. That's going to be a neat article for tomorrow. Okay? So that's where we're going to pick up tomorrow. This lady is dialed in as far as I'm concerned. If anybody wants my opinion, which is worth that much, this lady has it dialed in. Really good stuff. My favorite line in the whole article was that the better we get at it, the cheaper we can do it, and we pass that along to the consumer. That has been my theory since the beginning of time. Well, I take that back. After my first year. After I got Scrooge McDuck out of it, thinking I'm going to be mushroom millionaire, I no longer wanted to be. As soon as I started hearing about the effects of it on people's lives and the actual natural medicine of it, I couldn't charge the way I had been trying. Unconscionable. So, last week we had the pleasure. Let's see, hold on. We had the pleasure of starting a new book with you. Dr. Wayne W. Dyer, Change Your Thoughts and Change Your Life. Living the Wisdom of the Tao. I love it, the book. It's blowing my mind. I remember reading the verses of the I Ching, Teaching years and years ago, but it never hit me like it's hitting me now. Like it's coming at me in waves when I read these verses. And I want to share them with you guys, but there's something in the back of my mind has me afraid that you guys are going to think, worrying about what people think, that you guys are going to think Pops is teaching some kind of a new religion. I want to go on record. I avoid religions. I absolutely avoid them. With every inch of my being, I've been involved in religions. I wanted to be a priest when I was 12. I went to an all-boys Catholic high school thinking I was going to graduate and go to a seminary. Well, things didn't work out that way. I ended up graduating, spending a couple years of college, and then joining the Marine Corps to become a killer. You guys want to know something? You want to hear something crazy? If you guys watch me often, the veterans here, they would know that Pops had a rough relationship with his father growing up. Very rough relationship with my father. A lot of emotional abuse, some physical abuse. And I was incredibly sensitive and needy middle child situation. It was right before Thanksgiving. Right before Thanksgiving, I was sharing with my sister, who I was staying with, some of my they weren't recovered, I remembered them explicitly, but some of the incidences of abuse that I experienced from my father. There's 6 kids in our family. None of us experienced the same dad. Oddly enough, each one of us had a different experience with our dad. If we were taken and put in a dark room or in a room and said, sit down and write out your experiences with your father, each one would come back with a completely different story. And I've never really recognized that. And I've never really shared my story with my brothers and sisters. I had an opportunity to, with my sister, about 3 weeks ago now. It was incredibly cathartic. I reached really deep into my emotional well and was able to share, but practice the 4 agreements as I was doing it. Not blaming, taking responsibility for my own stuff as a kid. But I told my sister, this is the first person I've ever told this to in my life. Now I'm saying it to the world. You know why I joined the Marine Corps? You know why? No, you don't. Oh, so I could be a big, strong... I wanted to learn how to kill my dad. I was going to come back as a killer and take him out. It's a true story. Far cry from the priest that I wanted to be. And so while I'm in there, and I'm practicing to be a killer, truly, the things that I did and the jobs I took and the people I hung around, all this martial arts business, there was for 3 or 4 years those constant, I'm gonna go home. And if he, one more time. And then I started medicating. My own medication. And then I'm off on a run for 6 or 7 years that ended up in a rehab. So instead of killing my father, I was killing myself. I got out of that rehab and I jumped straight into religion again. A higher power. And I dabbled and I played and I constructed a life around that new involvement in religion. And the more involved I got, the cringier the whole thing was. Religion. The highest of the higher-ups, the bishops, the top-level pastors in the congregation, the organization that I was all involved in, were some of the creepiest men I'd ever met in my life. Living behind a mask of religion to the masses, to their congregations, but then when they would get together, they would take the masks off and all ho-ho-ho with each other. And I'm sitting in their midst going, they're comparing mistresses, they're comparing how much money they make compared to this guy or that guy. They're doing the same exact things that a bunch of yacht owners would be doing off of Wall Street. And I gagged. I went along with it. I went along to get along. And inside my soul was dying. I can't believe that I'm actually involved in this business. The exact opposite of what I wanted was to save lives and help people. I look now at the mega churches. I'm sounding critical, and I guess I am. But this is all to tell you I don't believe in religions. Religions divide us. They teach one opinion is right and everyone else is wrong. They teach these grotesque versions of heaven and hell with no empirical data. There's more people have died in the history of the world behind religion and religious wars than any other single thing. Those masters that have come to seek and save, we've taken their messages and perverted it to the degree that we will kill each other. I avoid religions. I avoid conversations about religion. Because they're divisive and I don't want to be a divider today. I used to be. I used to tell you were going to hell unless you came over here and followed this prescription. But it's a divider. It's a border drawer. It's a circle that you live in. And until you get out of the circle and you look back, you don't realize you're in a circle. So I avoid religion. So I won't teach religion, but I have philosophies. I believe that there's powerful ways to think. The Four Agreements are one of those philosophies for me. The power of the Four Agreements and the philosophy of the Four Agreements literally changed my life. Changed it. I stopped thinking and doing so many of the things that I did. Not perfectly, but better each day as I practiced. I now find myself wanting to practice another philosophy in conjunction with the Four Agreements. The more I'm reading about the Tao, the more I want to dive in and understand it and practice it because it's natural. It's focused on nature. It's focused on healing. It's focused on giving. So let me tell you, what is Taoism? Today we're just going to talk about what it is and see if it's a religion. And tomorrow we might read... Tomorrow we'll read a few verses. Welcome, curious reader. Before we dive into the nitty-gritty of living a Taoist life, let's take a moment to understand what Taoism is about. Imagine discovering a treasure, a hidden treasure, of wisdom that's been cherished for over 2,000 years. That's exactly what you're about to learn about. Taoism originated in ancient China. It's more than just a philosophy. It's a way of life that teaches us to live in harmony with the Tao, which means the way or the path. The Tao is the natural order of the universe. We just talked about the moon this morning. The moon follows a natural order in the universe. It's even measurable. We can measure its order. We know how often it rotates. We know how often it rotates around us. We know what it looks like from this portion of the earth and what it looks like from that portion of the earth. The moon is part of the Tao. It's part of the flow of life itself. Think of the Tao as a gentle current that guides a river. The rhythm that makes the seasons change. And the balance that keeps everything in sync. Brief history of Taoism. No one is exactly sure when Taoism came into practice, but historians believe it was probably somewhere between 500 and 400 BC. Taoism was founded in China during the Zhou dynasty. This dynasty is believed to be the longest and of course the most significant in terms of culture, religion, literature, and education. It might interest you to know that the horseback riding, iron, and crossbows you see in Chinese movies today were all introduced during this period. As you know, every religion and every philosophy was started by a person. The same applies to Taoism. Taoism was founded by Lao Tzu. Lao is believed to be a semi-legendary Chinese scholar. Like many influential men in history, Lao Tzu did not have plans to make his teachings about life a philosophy. He simply recorded this philosophy in the Tao Te Ching in the form of 81 brief prose poems. Today, this literature has become a collection that summarizes the key concepts of Taoism. Living in harmony with the Tao is all about simplicity, spontaneity, and non-action. These ideas might sound odd in our ever-evolving world, but they are the key to finding inner peace and happiness. They are foundational truths that you must learn to know about the Tao. Let's discuss all three and then we'll be done for today. Have a great day, Red Boy and Rodman. I see you guys. Simplicity. You guys know that Pops is all about simple now. I've lived the complicated. I've lived the ego infused. I'm so simple now, down to 2 strains at the grow house, down to the same way, down to the same process, down to the same procedure. Done. The 4 agreements, the most simple philosophy I could find. And I got to thinking about this last night. If the Tao is, figuratively speaking, a river, the 4 agreements, for me, are the banks of my river. Those are my guidelines. If I stay within the guidelines of the 4 agreements, and I float the river of the Tao, just thinking about it gives me a calmness, like an amazing, that's beautiful. I have the banks of my river, and then I float right down the river on simplicity first. Simplicity means letting go of the endless chase for more stuff. It's insatiable. I couldn't get more stuff. I kept getting more. And more and more and more. And more and more. Pretty soon you have to rent another house for the stuff that you have. When I was a child, my younger brother had a toy car that my father gave him on one of his birthdays. It was a simple toy because it needed no batteries or remote controls. To make it move, all he had to do was pull it back and let it go. My brother spent hours playing with that toy. Looking back today, I'm fascinated by how something so simple could bring him so much joy. That's what Taoism brings. It's about enjoying what you have right now and clearing out the clutter of your life. Imagine ditching all those extra things and finding more joy in what's left. When you embrace simplicity, you free yourself from stress and distractions, making room for what really matters. Simplicity manifests in little things, such as savoring a simple meal, enjoying a quiet moment, going to the cinema alone, enjoying your privacy, and appreciating the little things that bring you joy. The second aspect, spontaneity. Spontaneity is all about going with the flow. It's not about being reckless, Pops. I used to think spontaneity was reckless. The more reckless I could be, the better life I'm leading. Filled with adrenaline. I sought out adrenaline rushes. Spontaneity. It's not about being reckless, but it's about trusting your gut and letting life unfold naturally. Think of it like a normal walk in the park, where you follow your curiosity instead of a map. When you let go of rigid plans and expectations. Agreement number 3. You open yourself up to interesting adventures and opportunities. Spontaneity makes room for you to meet new people making each day feel fresh and new. And then thirdly, non-action. Good morning to Helldiver. Non-action isn't about being lazy or complacent. It's about taking a step back from the hustle and the bustle to reflect. I did this yesterday quite a bit because I was not feeling good. I had to take the day off from tea because I felt so terrible. But I started feeling better in the afternoon when the headache went away. And I did a lot of reflecting yesterday. And I do it more now than I've ever done before. Time out to reflect, not be on my phone, texting, IGing, taking pictures of everything that I've eaten, everything that I see and posting them somewhere. Getting involved in other people's stuff. Just take a step back. Turn the phone off. Turn the TV off. Turn everything off and grab a couple of good verses and just devour them. Eat them like they're the most gorgeous, delicate dessert. That was non-action for me. It's about taking a step back from the hustle and bustle to reflect. It's like sitting by a river, watching the water flow without trying to change its course. Non-action helps you see things clearly and find peace in just being. By not forcing things to happen, you allow life to flow naturally, which often leads to a better outcome. It's about trusting the process and finding strength in stillness. Furthermore, living the Taoist way also means seeing others as part of the natural rhythm, not as competitors. That's huge for a guy like me who spent his whole life in competition with everybody, whether they knew it or not. Pull up to a light. Guy next to me pulls up to the light. He has no idea, but now we're racing, buddy. Woo! Hit the gas. I'm over the intersection first. I see him in my rearview mirror. I kicked his ass. He wasn't even racing me. But I had to race everything. Competing. I had to have bigger, I had to have more, I had to have better. Can you imagine how stressful that really is? Racing strangers that aren't even racing you. That's not very Tao-centric. When you start seeing people in their natural rhythm, but not as competitors, this mindset builds empathy and peace. This minimizes conflicts, and it creates a sense of belonging. Imagine treating everyone you meet with the understanding that we're all in this together. Isn't that amazing? By practicing compassion and kindness, you make the world feel like home to everyone you meet. Small acts of kindness can have a big impact, spreading positive energy and fostering a sense of unity. That's what it's going to be like as we practice and we learn a little bit more. We'll read a few more verses on the Tao. And with the 4 agreements as our guideline, as our riverbanks, do you think that we're going to learn a lot together? Am I right? Give me 5 people that don't mind, that now say, okay, it's not a religion. It's an ancient Chinese philosophy that's still current in our lives today. We learn now what it is and what it is not. And we'll spend a few more days going through a few verses, choice verses, and how they apply. I hope that that's okay with you guys, because that's really the way I'm planning on going for the next week or so. Okay? And I don't want to freak anybody out. Pops is teaching religion, Chinese religion. No, he's not. Simplicity, spontaneity, and non-action. Thank you guys. 4 things that I try to practice every day. I don't try, I practice. Sometimes better, sometimes worse, but I practice them every day. Be impeccable with my word and my actions. Work hard not to sin with my mouth and with my deeds. Sin simply means miss the mark. Try to shoot better. Don't even take the shot if I don't have a good one. Hunters know that. You don't just shoot off pot shots at a deer. You make sure it's really in your sights, and if you're going to shoot it, you're going to hit. That's the way I try to be with my mouth today. If I'm going to shoot it, I'm going to hit. Goodness and kindness coming out. Don't take things personal. Number 3, don't have expectations or make assumptions. And 4th, right cleaning, 1 shot, 1 kill. 4 words, 1 kindness. And number 4, do your best. Those are the guidelines. And now my path, I'm going to start picking out parts of the Tao that make sense to me and work for me. Headbuster knows. Do your best. Have a great day, you guys. I'll scroll you out. I said last week I'll see you Monday, and then I didn't. I saw you Tuesday. But I have a built-in excuse. I wasn't feeling good at all. I hope I'm feeling great, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let me scroll you guys out of here. Derek Anderson, Mike Baraball, HB, Be Giving, Be Nature. Nipper, there's my girl. Mark and Dawn, and HB, and Derek Anderson, and Nippy. Nippy, starting tomorrow maybe, let's start signing people up for Secret Santa. I'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. We got to get our Secret Santa lists going. Okay? Helldiver, have a great day. It was nice to see you here. Anthony Hunt, Mike Barball, Derek, Sammy P's feeling inspired. Nippy, it's a way of life. It's not a Chinese religion, Pops. Mellow 301, I love that lady. Aaron and Don and Mark and Taylor, good morning, Taylor. 4-Leaf and Nippy and Jesus Christ in Australia. Anthony Hunt and Bullgum Kello. I am doing homework. Bullgum, you know what I'm doing. Bullgum, are you in my class? Aaron, Herbie, Melody Dawn and 4-Leaf, Derek Anderson, Cleany, Nippy, Corny, Connor Nichols. Much love, Connor. Thank you for being here. HB, Jesus Christ, OZN3T, good morning, Obi-Wan. Aaron and Mello and Cleany and Herbie Von Werbika, Broken Ferdy Kabop. 4-Leaf and Trenty Trenterson. Taylor loves everybody. Melody, Satter Wolf, Satter, good morning. Sue Little Derek, Nipper, have a beautiful day. Jesus Christ. Laura, have a divine day. Mike Barball and Cyber, good morning, Jolie. Joe and Joey D's. Jesus and Sammy B and Cleany. And Jesus again and Nipper and Aaron. And Nipper, Mike Barball, Melody Dawn, Herbs, Mellow, Sue Little Pacers. Thanks for the gifts again. Mellow, Joe D's, Shroom, Diggin, Derek Anderson, Melody, Pacers, Wizzy the Wazzy Wazerton, sometimes known as Wazio, Aaron, Mr. Marmars, Joe D's, Pacers, and Marmars. Pops, peace, love. Follow the way of kindness. Practice it. Use your words and your deeds to create kindness. Manifest it in all things you do. You guys go have a beautiful day. I'll see you here tomorrow. Pops out.